Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is the 204th Rome Total War Brotherhood game that I've put onto YouTube. The last two games I've put on have been for approximately 2 years ago. This battle was fought approximately 2 weeks ago and was the first battle supplied by Brotherhood member Uther. So thanks very much for supplying this battle, Uther. And the first team consists of Brotherhood members Uther's Dragons, or as most of us just calls him, Uther, and he has bought the Rome Julio faction. And then his first teammate is Titans Mohammed, and he has bought the Rome Scipio faction. And then their last teammate is somebody called Israel Yeshua. I think that's how you pronounce it, Israel Yeshua, and he has bought the Rome Julio faction. I've fought with Titans Mohammed for some years now, so I know he's a really good player. Uther's been playing RTW since it first came out, but their other member, I'm not sure how well he'll do. At this stage of the battle, I thought we'd have a look at Brotherhood member Uther's army here. If you notice, he's only got 12 infantry units, which is not a lot for the 31k modern battlefield. But if you notice that one of his units is the Eagle unit, the Legionary First Cohort. And the reason he's bought that is because that unit is a command unit and will give his infantry a morale bonus during the course of the battle. And the reason that he's bought that unit is because his general for this battle is the Roman armoured cavalry general. Now, up to about 7 or 8 years ago, bringing the Roman armoured cavalry general was something that we all used to do. And if you look at the upgrades on this particular general, you'll see that it's fully upgraded. So Uther has fully upgraded this unit, which has already got good specifications. But as I said, we all used to bring this type of unit up to about 7 or 8 years ago when we changed to an infantry general. So it's nice to see Uther still is bringing a little bit of old school to the modern RTW battlefield. And he uses this Roman armoured general extremely well. So it'll be interesting to see how well it does during the course of the battle. And I think that's an interesting army. Should be a great one for you to watch. And here is the other team. We have Greek's clansman KLEOMENIS, who has bought the Macedon faction. Now, as a lot of RTW players may know, that the Greeks' mission on Rome Total War was to become the best clan with the pike factions. And to this end, the Greek clan practiced for hours and hours and hours to be the best clan with pikes. And I think most RTW players would agree that the Greek clan did become the best clan on RTW with the pike factions. So whenever you see a Greek clansman with a pike faction, you know you're in for a real battle. And KLEOMENIS has been playing a Rome Total War for years now, very experienced RTW general. So that also adds to how good his army will be on the battlefield. Also, he's got 4 companion cavalry here. And if you look at the upgrades, you'll see that I think they've got 8 upgrades on, so they're nearly maxed out, those companion cavalry. They've got extremely good specifications. Sometimes they're called the winged horsemen. If you notice that the kind of wings on their helmets there. So, as I say, their official name is the companion cavalry, but sometimes they're called the winged horsemen. And that Macedon army looks extremely effective to me. His teammate is Titans Hades, who's also bought the Macedon faction there. If you notice, the Macedon pikes are extremely long there, and it takes a lot to fight down those pikes to kill the man on the other end. So a lot of Roman generals tend not to like to take pike factions on head on. They tend to like to get around the flanks or the rear of those pikes. So with 2 Macedon factions there facing Uther's team, that's quite a formidable challenge. And then their last teammate is Titans Beast, who has bought the Rome SBQR faction there. Now, Titans have got a reputation for being a very aggressive, attacking clan, and I think that's well earned. They are a very attacking clan, and it should be an interesting battle to watch. And I hope you enjoy it. At this very early stage of the battle, before the teams have even formed up here, you can see that Greek's KLEOMENIS is bringing his Macedon army across in a very aggressive manner towards Uther's army here. And if you notice that Uthers stopped moving his army over towards his allies there to stop his army to face the actual Macedon's pikemen there, just in case KLEOMENIS decides to attack him head on there. And my guess is at this stage Uther will start throwing loads of pilers into the Macedon ranks there, and if you can see there, those I think those forward 3 units there are kind of raining pilers down onto the Macedon pikemen. Remember, those Macedon pikemen units are about 120 men per unit, so they can soak up a lot of pilers there. But you see, Uther's still facing them, as he probably thinks there might well be an attack coming in there on his army. But now, if you notice that KLEOMENIS has put his pikes down, so we'll obviously slow his movement forward. So now Uther takes advantage of that and takes his army back over towards his allies there. If the pikes were still up, then KLEOMENIS could have ran his army into Uther's army there, but they were down, giving Uther time to get away. Here's an overall picture of the battlefield as what's happening so far. Over here on the left flank, you can see that the Titan's beast is moving the SBQR army in towards Uther's Julii ally there. And he's duly turning to face the threat from Titan's beast. Meanwhile, back over here on the right flank, you can see that KLEOMENIS is still running his Macedon army forward towards Uther's infantry there. Now, I'd just like to draw your attention here to KLEOMENIS' Macedon archers. Let's just pause the game for a second. Right, if you notice, because he knows that Uther hasn't got any archers, KLEOMENIS now can put his archers into tight, close formation, which means the impact of their arrows are even more effective. And every time Uther moves his infantry, is losing troops to those Cretan archers. So that's why, if you notice, can you see the dead of Uther's dead there? Now those have all been killed. If you notice the way they're facing, they're all facing backwards, where they've been killed by the archers as they were running back from the Macedon army. So what KLEOMENIS is doing is trying to push Uther's army, making them move, because he knows that every time Uther's army move, they're going to take casualties from his archers. So that's a nice little move there by KLEOMENIS. Meanwhile, over on the left flank here, in an overall picture of what's actually happening, you can see that Titan's beast with his SBQR army is kind of squaring up to Uther's Julii ally there. And there will be an exchange of pilers going on there between the SBQR army and the Julii army there. If you notice, Titan's Mohammed Scipii army now are moving towards Hades' Macedon army. Now, if you notice that Titan's Mohammed there has moved a couple of units in to engage the pikes, but my guess is he's going to try and swing units round to the flank and, if possible, the rear of that Macedon army. Remember what we've talked about in other battle videos? The weak point of pike units are their flank and rear. So that's what he's doing there. He's trying to pin the forward Macedon units with some of his infantry there, and then while he's trying to occupy them, he's moving infantry units around the flank. Now this is a bit of a risky manoeuvre there for Mohammed, and I'll show you why in just a minute. If you notice, as I say, he's looking to take units round, but if you look at KLEOMENIS' pikes there, his Macedon army there, if he moves those rear units over quickly, he could sandwich Mohammed's Scipii Roman units there between his own army and Hades, leaving those forward units to actually hold up Uther. So as I say, this is a bit of a risky tactic there for Mohammed. If he does get sandwiched between the Macedon armies, that could be a problem for him there. Meanwhile, over here on the left flank, there's not a lot going on at the moment, but as we see in other battle videos, sometimes the quiet spots turn into the hottest spots, if you see what I mean. Right, if you see now what's happening, can you see that KLEOMENIS has spotted the tactical advantage here, and is now moving his pike units over to sandwich Mohammed's infantry between his own pikemen and Hades' pikemen there. That's a nice strategic move there by KLEOMENIS. And if you can see now, can you see that the SBQR cavalry are charging into Mohammed's cavalry? Let's just pause the game for a second. So as you see here, the two Mohammed's Scipii units there are sandwiched between the two enemy Macedon armies, and if you notice, the enemy SBQR cavalry are charging into Mohammed's infantry as well. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there in the centre. If you notice, their Julii ally is moving some units over towards the centre, and if you notice, UTHER is moving some units over to the centre as well there. And if you see what Uthers' fast-moving, fully upgraded cavalry general is doing there, he's taking out those Cretan archers. So that's a nice little move there by Uther. While KLEOMENIS was concentrating on the main battle, Uther sent his general over there to take out those archers, which, if they started firing fire arrows into the back of engaged troops, could cause some real problems. So that's a nice little move there by Uther's cavalry general. Okay, so we're going back to the centre here. As you can see, the enemy SBQR cavalry are charging in, but if you notice that Uther's ally Mohammed has counter-attacked with his Scipii cavalry there. So there's a lot going on there in the centre at the moment. Also, if you notice, the Macedon cavalry have been charged in as well. Those companion cavalry has also been charged into Mohammed's infantry there. Right, if you notice here, can you see Uther was thinking about charging in with his cavalry, but seeing the enemy cavalry withdrawing, he has now decided to pull his cavalry back there. Looking at all the action on this right flank, this could be a pivotal part of the battle. I'm just thinking whoever maybe wins on this right flank may go on to win the battle here, looking at all the forces that are drawn up here. If you notice here, Uther has taken some units round to the flank and rear of the Macedon pike units there, but if you notice that the enemy cavalry are now in behind those units and are now charging into them. But it was the right move for Uther to do, to take infantry units around the flank and rear of the pike units there. Unfortunately, they just got caught by some enemy cavalry units there. If you notice, Uther and his allies now are amassing their cavalry on this right flank. Now I think what Uther and his allies would really like to do here is take on that enemy cavalry there, and if they could take out all that enemy cavalry, then and that would give them a massive advantage there. Be interesting to see what happens here on that right flank. If you notice that Titan's Beast is moving a lot of his infantry over to this flank. If you notice, can you see one Macedon lone pike unit there? Let's just pause the game for a second. There you are. Can you see Uther's moved his cavalry out there, and his allies have moved their cavalry all out there. Can you see that one Macedon pike unit's just been hit by the Scipii cavalry and is now routing? But as I say, if you notice, there's a lot of archers at the back. Those Macedon archers are firing loads and loads of fire arrows into Uther's teammates there. Remember, fire arrows don't just cause casualties, but they have got a morale lowering benefit as well. Meanwhile, over in the centre and the left here, you can see the Macedon pikemen are bogged down with the Scipii infantry and the Julii infantry there. And Titan's Beast has still got some of his SBQR infantry in with his Macedon allies there over on the left flank. So there's a general overview of actually what's happening at this time. This is a common defence for what Roman generals use when they're up against pike units, putting their forward units into testudo. With those that shield defence all round, it really slows up and kind of bogs down attacking enemy pikemen there. So that's a standard kind of defence formation that a lot of Roman generals use when they're under attack by pike armies there. But you can see there's masses and masses of fire arrows going into Uther's team at the moment from those Macedon pikemen. So that's lowering the morale all the time, as well as causing casualties. Meanwhile, over on this right flank, you can see that Titan's Beast has got infantry units there. Now, if you notice, his ally is charging Macedon cavalry forward, hoping that Uther would engage with his cavalry, because Beast's moving his infantry forward. So if Uther had engaged with that Macedon cavalry, they might have held him long enough there for Beast to get his infantry across and rout Uther's cavalry. So that was a nice tactical move there by Uther to move his cavalry back. The think he was using his years of experience there. He wasn't going to fall in for that trap. Meanwhile, over on the left flank here, you can see that Beast has put infantry units in behind his Macedon allies there. Probably with a view to be able to pilot Uthers' allies there without getting piloted themselves, so they've got the shield of the pike units in front. Right, if you notice now, Beast is taking some of his SBQR infantry units through his allies' pikemen there. With a view to attack Uthers' Julii ally there and his Scipii ally there. If you notice, Mohammed's cavalry is just counter-attacked. Remember that Uthers' team are the red Julii and the blue Scipii. The enemy team are the Macedons and the purple SBQR Rome army. Just so when you have an overview of the battle, you can just see by the colours exactly what's happening with the teams here. Right, you can see KLEOMENIS is bringing some of his cavalry over to this flank. And if you notice that Uthers' Julii ally there is moving a couple of infantry units out to actually counter these Macedon cavalry, and if that Macedon cavalry attack that Julii infantry there, then you can see that the Mohammed's Scipii cavalry was coming in there to take them on as well. So that was a wise move by the Macedon general there to move his cavalry back out of the way there, because I think that Scipii cavalry would have probably taken them out. Right, I'd just like to draw your attention to something here. Just going to pause the game for a second. Right, now Beast, the SBQR Beast, has just asked his teammate, I think KLEOMENIS, Hades, asked his teammate Hades to up his pikes. Now the reason he's done that is because Beast is going to charge his cavalry through his pikes, his allies' pikes. If the pikes are down, remember, friendly pikes kill friendly cavalry. So he's just said to Hades, put your pikes up, I'm going to charge my cavalry through. And if you notice, Hades has just put his pikes up there to allow Beast's cavalry to charge through his pikes without getting any friendly casualties there, without suffering any friendly casualties, right? So Beast cavalry has charged straight through those pikes now, because Hades put his pikes up. As I said, if the pikes were still down, it would have caused Beast a lot of casualties. Remember, friendly pikes kill friendly cavalry. If you notice, the Macedon cavalry are also charging through at the same time here. That was a nice little tactical move there by Beast and Hades and KLEOMENIS there. But Uthers' team seem to have counter-attacked with cavalry and infantry as well, and have driven them back. Meanwhile, over on the right flank here, you can see that Uthers got his cavalry ready. And if you notice that Uthers moving his infantry round the flank, and if possible the rear of the enemy team there. If you notice, he's got his Eagle unit close to his engaged infantry there, giving them the command unit morale boost. Right, now if you notice, Uthers taking his cavalry over towards what's left of the enemy cavalry there. There's a few battle damaged Macedon units and a few SBQR battle damaged cavalry units there. Now, if Uther can take out these enemy cavalry units, then that will give his team a big advantage, because I think that's basically almost all the enemy cavalry would have been taken out then. If you notice here, can you see, I think it's KLEOMENIS is running some of his or it might be Titan's Hades moving some of his pike units out to support his cavalry, but Uther's just staying there long enough to take out that Macedon cavalry, and now my guess is he'll pull away. There you are. He's pulling his cavalry as fast as he can from those pike units. So he's done what he wanted to there. Right, let's pause the game for a second to take stock of exactly what's happened here. Okay, as you can see, Uther's got a lot of his infantry here with his Julii ally on this right flank. Moving round if he could to the rear to get in behind the enemy troops there, as there's a lot of SBQR infantry and pikemen this side. In the centre there, you can see there's not a lot going on at the moment. As you can see, a lot of SBQ, enemy SBQ and pikemen there in the centre. And over on the left flank, you can see that Uthers Julii ally there has got some units around there trying to flank the Mastodon pikemen there. As I say, preferably if you can get in behind engaged pikemen, that would be even better. But the flank is a weak part of those pike units. And as you can see now, Uther's got, I think, 5 cavalry units plus his general unit there, so 6 cavalry altogether, and they've just taken out most of the enemy cavalry. So this gives Uther's team a massive advantage now with that cavalry. And if that cavalry is used correctly at the right time, at the right place, then they could be battle-changing troops there. In fact, I think Uther taking out what was left of the enemy cavalry, that also could be a pivotal part of the battle. Right, if you notice here, Uther's taking his infantry forward. If you notice, he's not rushing to attack. He's taking his time. He's using his years of experience here to kind of move his troops around tactically, size up exactly what's happening on the battlefield. There's absolutely no hurry needed at this time. Right, I'm just going to pause the game here for a second. Newer players watching this, newer players for RTW watching this, just a little bit of a question here. Now, Uther's got some very battle-damaged cavalry units here, as we've said earlier. And if you were in charge of those cavalry units, where do you think you would charge them in here? Now, what I'm thinking is, would he charge straight through that SBQR unit there into the general? Now, remember, if he kills the general, the morale of all his troops, that general's troops, will lower. So I'm wondering whether Uther's going to take those units, smash through the front of that one unit facing them and go into the back of that SBQR general there. Now, I wonder if that's the right tactical decision to do. So if you were in charge of that cavalry, where do you think you would hit looking at the battlefield? Let's see what happens. Right, Uther's attacking. Right, he's going into the flank of that SBQR unit there. And if you notice what he's doing, he's charging his infantry forward at the same time. So it's kind of like almost like a hammer and anvil attack. Infantry and cavalry smashing into those units, and he's routed them both. Now, if he charges straight on, he could go into the back of that SBQR general and bang! See how his cavalry and infantry are both charged straight in there. He may have even been going for that Macedon general there. Okay, but now he's decided that he's got the best he can from his cavalry charge bonus, and he's pulled his cavalry back to reform, ready to charge in again when ready to get the full cavalry charge bonus. As I say, he's got his Eagle unit close to his fighting infantry there, but not actually fighting itself, giving that command unit morale boost to his troops. Okay, let's just pause the game for a second. As you can see here, a lot of the Julii army are forcing an attack here on this right flank. They're really pushing in on this right flank onto the enemy Macedon and SBQR troops there. Uthers even got a unit in behind the enemy troops there. Now, bearing in mind that I think most of the enemy cavalry are dead now, this gives Uther's team a real chance to get units in behind the enemy where they want, without fear of being attacked by cavalry. So, as I say, taking out the majority of the enemy cavalry there by Uther was a very good tactical move. As you can see here over on the left flank, there's a lot of I think it's like a bit of a defence formation being set up there by the Macedon pike general. Okay, can you see Uther charging his cavalry in? If he can hit that Macedon general there, which I'm sure he's aiming for, if he can kill that Macedon general, and bang! Right, he's routed that Macedon general now. I think he just killed him. So that now will lower the morale of all those Macedon troops. So that was a nice surgical hit there by Uther's cavalry to take that general out. Nice move there. And if you notice there, Uther's gone in, done the damage that he wanted to. As I say, took that general out, and now he's pulling his cavalry back. He doesn't want to get into a tangle with the enemy infantry there. Okay, can you notice that the enemy SBQR Rome and the enemy Macedon pikemen there are forming a bit of a defensive formation over here on the left, and they are being really pushed by Uther and his ally there, as both Julii infantries are pushing in on that the right part of that defensive formation.
The enemy general flees. Press forward so the spirit of his army is broken too.
If you notice here, you can see Mohammed's got one unit in Testudo, that he's charging that Testudo unit into the pikeman there. What he's probably done, he's probably clicked on past the pikeman there, and the Testudo will keep moving into that pike unit. He's probably trying to break up that pike unit, making maybe a hole that would draw infantry reinforcements from other parts of that defensive formation to try and weaken it in other places. If you notice that Uthers Julii army and his allies Julii army are really pushing in on that defensive formation there, and you can see that what's left of Mohammed's Scipii army is pushing in there as well. Right, let's just pause the game for a second. As you can see, there's a lot of Julii units around this defensive formation, but if you notice, the Beast has got his SBQR general right in the middle of that defensive formation there, giving morale bonus to his fighting troops, and also keeping that general out of harm's way at this time. But if you notice that Uther and his allies have basically surrounded that defensive formation. There's a couple of very, very battle damaged enemy cavalry units still on the scene there, but the vast majority of their cavalry has been taken out. As you can see, several of the enemy units are starting to rout now. I would have thought Uther's still got some very battle damaged cavalry left. If he charged them in, that could just be the straw that broke the camel's back, if you know what I mean. Right, and there they're all charging in. The cavalry's just hit as well. Bang, as that cavalry goes in, and all of Uther's allies, if you notice, attacked in one movement there. And the pressure of all those armies attacking that defensive formation, which was basically filled with very battle damaged units, has forced it to rout. So that was a nice final attack there by Uther and his allies there.
The enemy general is slain, and now his men fear us. It is time to press the enemy general is running away. This is
really well done there
to
both teams there. As you notice, it's only a 3v3 battle, but if you look at the piles of dead on the battlefield, you can see how intense the fighting is. And I see that Uther's cavalry general still going around the battlefield now. I think he suffered a couple of casualties, but that fully upgraded armoured cavalry unit did really well on this battlefield. So as I say, sometimes a bit of old school Roman cavalry general use can still do really good on a modern day RTW battlefield.
Such a victory! The day is ours!
Okay, the first thing I'd like to say is really well played to everybody in the game. That was a great game for me to watch, and I hope it was a great game for you to watch as well. And thanks again to Uther for supplying it. I'd just like to draw your attention to a clear victory there by Uther's team. While I was watching the battle, I didn't know whether it might have been like a medium victory, but really well done to Uther's team there. And if you look at the kills on Uther's team, of course they were facing big 120-man Macedon units, but still did very good. Just like to draw your attention to Uther's got the smallest army on the battlefield, okay, but he's got the biggest kills on the battlefield. So it sometimes doesn't mean that the more men you bring on the battlefield, the more kills you get. It's kind of how you use your army that you get the kills. The skillful tactical way that you use your army can really make the difference there. Let's just have a look at the battlefield statistics. I think Uther's army is the second one down there because it's got the Roman armoured general there. If you look at the Roman armoured general kills that he's got there, 292 with the old school Roman armoured general there, cavalry general. So really well done to that. If you look at the other kills of his units, they've done quite well as well. And his cavalry did pretty good as well if you look at the kills that they've got against the casualties they suffered. So really well done for the kills there by Uther's army. And once again, I really like to say really well played to KLEOMENIS, Hades and Beast. Nice aggressive attacking moves there by you guys. And really well done to Yeshua, Uther and Mohammed. I thought your teamwork and the way that you guys played together was exceptional. Really well done. If you've enjoyed this battle, then please subscribe to our channel. Always nice to get new subscribers. This is Spartan Commander saying hope you enjoyed the battle, and bye for now.